I would like to invite Asma Jan Mohammed, please welcome on the stage. She's going to talk about priority paradox for the better halves.
Thank you very much for the invitation. So a lot has been said about women leadership, women empowerment. We can see icons sitting here who have done a lot in their lives. We are living in an era where phenomenal women are trailblazing towards shaping the future and becoming leaders in their respective domains. It is an open secret that facilitating access of world's half the population to trade markets could triple the world GDP significantly. However, there is a blunt truth, and I want you all to pay attention to it. Men still runs the world. This is a bare truth that men still runs the world. Of the 195 independent countries, only 17 are led by women. And if we go ahead, women hold just 20% of seats in parliaments globally. There is no doubt that women have slowly and steadily advanced, earning more and more of college degrees, taking more of entry-level jobs, entering more fields previously dominated by men. However, there is a just meager 21% of the Fortune 500 CEOs which are women. The gap is even worse when it comes for top corporate jobs, board seats, and above all, parliamentary seats. Now, how would a truly equal world look like? To me, a truly equal world would be where women ran half of the countries and companies, and men ran half of our homes. So that, to me, will be a truly equal world. Now, I would like to quote one quotation or one thought, which I heard around a couple of years back from a great personality. He said, we need to prepare women for the leadership because future belongs to them. You know who was that great personality? That was Dr. Musa Shaikh. He seemed to be in oblivion, but I recorded your statement, Dr. Musa. You said, we need to prepare women for the future because the future belongs to them. When the results of women partnering in leadership roles are already known, what is now left for us to focus on is how to enable them. But enabling is not possible without a plan or a roadmap. It cannot be achieved until it becomes a priority and a priority in daily life. Now, how the roadmap is going to start? In my view, there are two ends to it. One is the domestic front, and the other end is the corporate front. First, I would like to talk about domestic front. Now, from the moment we are born, boys and girls are treated differently. Parents tend to talk to girl babies more than boy babies. They overestimate the crawling ability of their sons and underestimate the crawling ability of their daughters. Reflecting the belief that girls need to be helped more than boys, mothers and fathers often spend more time comforting and hugging infant girls and more time watching their infant boys play by themselves. Other cultural messages are also blatant. Some toys proclaim smart like daddy for boys, and for girls, pretty like mommy. Even worse, the messages sent to girls can move beyond encouraging superficial traits and deviate into explicitly discouraging leadership. So what happens? When a girl tries to lead, she is often labeled bossy. When a girl tries to lead, she is often labeled bossy. Boys are seldom called bossy because a boy is taking the role of a boss doesn't surprise anyone. From a very early stage, boys are encouraged to take charge and offer their opinions. Now, I was recently reminded about these patterns, which we follow at our domestic fronts. The selection of a chairman in a small committee, which I was a part of, It was happening and going on. And by chance, all the other 4 members of the committee were senior to me and they were male members. I was not offered a chance to be considered as the possible chair of the committee. Now, instead, I was just asked, do you agree if Mr. X is made the chair of the committee? Seeing this as a formality and just a tick box exercise, where all the 4 members have unanimously already agreed upon a decision, I only smiled and said, as long as I am not the chair, I'm fine. But the conclusion is, my answer interrupted the established norms, and I could see that the other members were frowning upon it. The danger goes beyond men silencing female voices. Young women internalize societal cues about what defines appropriate behavior, and in turn, they silence themselves. The gender stereotypes introduced in childhood are reinforced throughout our lives and become self-fulfilling prophecies. Most leadership positions are held by men, so women don't expect to achieve them. And that becomes one of the reasons they don't do it. The same is true with pay. There is a gender pay gap. Men generally earn more than women, so people expect women to earn less. And in turn, they do. The stereotype of a working woman is really attractive. Now, if the female character decides her time between work and family, she is almost always stressed and anguished. For many men, the fundamental assumption is that they can have both a successful professional life and a fulfilling personal life. But for many women, the assumption is that trying to do both is difficult and challenging. And at the best, impossible, and it can be worse. They are told again and again, over and over again, that they have to choose between their family life and their careers. The reality is that not only women can have both families and careers, they can thrive while doing so. Children, parents, and marriages can all flourish when both parents have full careers. Sharing financial and child care responsibilities leads to less guilty moms, more involved dads, and thriving children. In other words, it results in lower anxiety levels and higher mental well-being. At the corporate front, I would like to say that there's been a lot of advocacy of gender equality at work, from media coverage, having all sorts of exhibitions, conferences, etc. However, despite the consensus that everybody agrees there should be a gender equality, the percentage of women serving in senior leadership roles remains extremely small. Why does this happen? So there are certain reasons. Many organizations, they are not fully sold on the benefits of gender equality in leadership roles by women. They sometimes have over-relied on good intentions and applying a relaxed approach to diversity. Also, men who represent the overwhelming majority of senior leaders worldwide tend to underestimate the magnitude of gender bias in their workplace. Ironically, even as gender gap remains wide, the war for top talent across industries is raging. Companies will likely struggle to remain competitive if they fail to systematically develop and promote women who are capable leadership candidates. In the words of a female chief innovation officer from Norway, from service industry, she said, "It's stupid to think you can win the war on talent and exclude half the population." There are certain obstacles to the change that we are trying to bring. The positive messaging about companies' commitment to gender equality in recent years and the propagation of female-focused programs, businesses are making the advancement of women a strategic priority. So this is a necessity that they make it a priority. With the heightened focus, we wondered why we are still seeing so few women move up in their ranks in the companies. Now, there was a survey by IBM. About 2,300 executives participated, and they found some bare truths. They found that vast majority of companies are not prioritizing the advancement of women, at least not formally. Also, they found that advancing women just isn't on their radar. Many companies globally haven't fully prioritized gender-balanced leadership. Organizations do aim to promote more women to the leadership positions in the future. However, there is lingering doubt that the advancement of women will produce financial returns. So that's the main problem. Additionally, fewer women than men want to take on leadership roles. So that is another challenge. Even though the promise of improved financial success may appear attractive to today's leaders, as long as they maintain unexamined biases that women are responsible for their own lack of advancement, achieving gender-balanced leadership will be a non-starter. One of the male board of directors from Germany, technology industry, he said, companies tend to discuss gender parity and say they have to do something, but then someone will say, it's not that bad. They rely on their gut. No action is taken. The single most important thing organizations get wrong about achieving gender parity is that it will happen naturally. No, it is not going to happen naturally. So what could be the action plan? In my view, few points to consider. It should start at the top, at the board level. The mission statement and vision statement of an organization should document it. We should make it real, legitimize it by formally making it part of our business plan and KPIs. We should select one or more senior executive in the organization to lead the change. Make people accountable for results. Take pledges. Create an internal campaign. And the most important thing, it has to be man to man. It's important this initiative isn't perceived as a program for women. As a program for women by women, it has to be man to man. Their involvement is critical. We should co-create goals. We should get our organization audited to determine how many women currently fill leadership gaps. All these aims are futile without a timeline and a partnership with men, because men make up the lion's share of today's leadership programs. Their involvement is a must. This is not about men empowering women, but rather men working in partnership with women to co-create the policies and inclusive corporate culture. I would like to say, pink is not a strategy. Pink is not a strategy. Having a higher proportion of women leadership in all levels introduces a diversity of creative thought, innovation, and insight that influences business strategy, decision, and execution. In contrast, companies without a mix of perspectives risk short-sightedness. I would like to conclude on a few lines. It's a struggle at each step. Let's make it easier for our future generations at least. Times are changing now. Times are changing from armored leadership to daring leadership, from fitting in to standing out. In the past, jobs were about muscles. Now they are about brains. And tomorrow, they will be about the heart. Thank you so much.